Joining me now is Jill Rutter from the Institute for Government, our oracle on what happens. So this week, does anything decisive happen?
Probably not. So what we see is, as you've just said, the Prime Minister making a statement, putting down a motion about the next steps. There's absolutely no sign she'll have a new deal to offer, so that'll just say, I'm continuing to talk in Brussels. And then we'll see the amendments go down.
That'll be on Thursday.
So those amendments are debated on Thursday when they debate the motion. So the really interesting thing is this is a second opportunity, we had the last couple of weeks ago, for MPs to try and wrest control of the process from the Prime Minister.
But could they do that in a binding way?
They could try what they did last time, which was, remember, we were all getting very excited by this amendment that Yvette Cooper had put down last time, which was going to create the space for MPs to bring in some legislation which could have put, if you like, a hard stop to no deal. And that's what they tried to do. That was defeated, obviously, last time by around 20 votes. So they may try that again. We may see a different tactic emerging. We've seen some things happening with the Labour Party, Keir Starmer talking about Labour changing its tactics a bit. So we'll have to see how MPs, what they decide to put down and how they vote this time around.
Then the Prime Minister has said by the end of the month, if MPs haven't had another vote on her plan, they'll get to vote on something else. What does that mean?
So what she's trying to do, I think, is the same tactic they used last time, because last time she said, don't worry, this isn't the critical moment at which you have to act to head off no deal. I'll give you another chance. And that's why we've got the motion this week and the debate this week. So what she's now saying is you can still hold off. Don't worry. If you are somebody, say you're a minister who's saying, I'm really, really worried about the prospects of no deal, I'm going to have to resign if the Prime Minister's taking us into no deal. I really need to resign so I can vote with those backbench amendments. She's saying, no, you don't have to go yet.
You've got until the end of the month.
You've got until the end of the month. So she's kicking it down the road a bit. And maybe in that time, she'd have got something she can bring back from Brussels.
Right, but what about the Labour idea of some sort of softer compromise? When would that start being put to MPs, if it's ever going to be put to them?
Well, Labour looks as though it may be putting some sort of amendment down again. I mean, it's the letter Jeremy Corbyn wrote last week was very similar to the amendment Labour put down. That's, if you like, sort of sitting there on the table as an open offer to the Prime Minister that if she decides against what she's done so far, which is try and satisfy her backbenchers, that's why, the government voted in favour of the Brady Amendment, why she's been in Brussels trying to undo the backstop. If she decides that's a sort of cul-de-sac, Labour's basically saying, we've got an offer here for you if you want to soften your terms of Brexit. And you'll have seen one or two sort of Conservative supporters, the people who supported Common Market 2.0, the soft Brexit, coming out in favour of that Labour approach, saying, why aren't you thinking across the chamber rather than trying to face backwards?
The government is still saying Brexit happens on March the 29th. Now, is that true? I mean, are they just lying to us because they know that they can't delay now? They have to wait until the last minute.
The Prime Minister thinks, and this is where I think she doesn't want to ask for an extension, certainly doesn't want to take no deal off the table. She thinks that if it looks as though the clock is ticking down, it's both going to concentrate the minds on her backbenchers, but it's also going to concentrate minds in Brussels. She is still on the tactic. We're seeing Steve Barclay go to Brussels tomorrow to have dinner with Michel Barnier, the Brexit Secretary. She still thinks that she can possibly get some better language around the backstop. I think, the idea that the backstop can be ditched entirely, she seems to have flirted with that very briefly, but, clearly got nowhere with that in Brussels. That week, had her dinner with the Irish Prime Minister. I think he'd have probably reiterated that the backstop's going nowhere, but she might try and sort of get some of those assurances she got a couple of weeks ago in letters put into something that's a bit more legally watertight.
Jill Rutter, thank you very much.